Are you flipping the rage bait on me?
What is that existence? Responding to chuds. I love doing it. Let's go with the dog against the dogs. Alabama.
When I had a choice to pick a co-host.
I know.
Oh, you're betting on the game. Why would you be doing that? Because it's fun. What are you giggling about?
I swear to God, it's the lo-fi trap beat every time. I don't know. It brings me so much joy, man.
Welcome back to Geek'd Up Bets. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson. We're here to digest after we reacted immediately after the Super Bowl. I'm already making myself laugh thinking of digest because of all the farting.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-show. I'm sorry. That's
live from the fart house. Yeah.
Pulling back the curtain a little bit too quickly. This is the offseason. This is exactly what we're going to be doing the entire offseason. We want to react to some of the biggest headlines that are coming out of the Super Bowl. Will Campbell's arms, one of the things that's getting talked about a lot. Drake Maye's future with the Patriots because of his performance during the playoffs was pretty rough. And of course, we should take a look at Sam Darnold and what we should expect from him for the rest of his career. We're also going to deliver some of our favorite bets for the week, or not for the week, for tonight for college basketball. Sean and I both got completely smoked on our last bets.
Boy,
those
did we.
not hit. I can't believe I let you tail me. I can't believe that I let you tail me on
Squeeze
UConn.
me?
I took UConn before you took UConn.
Oh, I thought we were talking about last night between Arizona and Kansas.
Oh, I didn't touch that. I'm glad that I did.
Oh, wow.
I knew that the minute that you told me that was going to be the first loss that Arizona suffered this season, I knew it was going to come to fruition just because you so confidently proclaimed that it was going to.
Darren Peterson wasn't playing. I was like certain that it was on. Like that okay, number one draft pick isn't playing. Got it. Noted.
Didn't matter.
Bill Self, he was yelling louder on the sidelines than I've ever seen a coach yell in my life. I've never seen someone make.
He probably shouldn't be the coach to be getting all worked up with his
makes me nervous.
Heart issues.
I know.
One of these days, I that seemed awfully negative. I hope that doesn't happen. And I don't know how he still coaches that he's made it this far. But we're here to talk NFL. I'm going to dig into talking about some of the biggest headlines post Super Bowl. Drake Maye, Sean, had a brutal stretch during the playoffs. He really, really struggled. He has the worst total EPA of any quarterback since 2000 to play at least 3 games. And the list of guys that he is with, it's quite concerning. Now, it begs the question of, is there anything to worry about with Drake Maye? Is he going to struggle in the future? Was this something that we duped ourselves into believing, that he had all this potential and he was going to be really good because they smoked a really, really easy schedule? Or is that an overreaction?
I think I trust what I saw, and I saw what I saw, which was Drake Maye actually taking a massive leap forward this year, developing a tremendous ability to throw the deep ball, commanding an NFL offense, marching down fields on teams that he should be beating. And that's what matters to me in a year 2 quarterback. Did he do that? Yeah. And did they exceed expectations and keep on being force-fed limpy opponents down the stretch? Yeah. I'm not going to knock them for it. Were they the best team in the AFC this year? Probably not. Would the Bills have put up a better fight in the Super Bowl? Maybe. It maybe would have. But I'm not going to discount the entire team and how they fought. Drake Maye, I do not hold concerns about. I think he's a stud. I just look at the body of work that he put in this season. Second year, and he's top 2 MVP candidate. Thank you. I'm not going to ignore that. I refuse to.
I think that's one of the best ways to look at this, because there's a wide spectrum here. We're not looking at a guy who was solid and then faced great opponents and played like ass and completely crumbled. He had a lot of games throughout the year where he made a lot of big throws. He made a lot of big plays to set up his team to succeed and to win. Was it against a non-competitive schedule, one of the weakest schedules in the NFL? Yeah, it was. We can't.
That's so college coded.
We can't. For all the times that I make those quips and I try to kind of drag in the whole, oh, who did you play? Who was on Notre Dame's schedule? It sounds like I'm doing that. But in all seriousness, they played a really easy schedule, and that was a lot of things went their way. A lot of things went their way for them to get to a Super Bowl, including the playoffs. Getting to face Jarrett Stidham in the snow was a huge advantage for them to have gotten there. I think Bo Nix, sidebar, would have probably played better than Drake Maye. That's a completely separate issue because he's got a better offensive line.
Ooh.
Completely separate issue. But Sean, the whole bit here is that he had enough great plays to buy into that. And we got to remind ourselves, this guy who's in his second year in the NFL. There is so much room for him to improve and to get better. Believing that it was overly optimistic to think that he was going to, or to think that the hype was unwarranted, I think is unfair. Very rarely can a guy in his second year look the way that he did in spurts.
I'm so in love with this 2024 quarterback class and talking about them. I refuse to not think that they're all good and they're all that it's not going to be, here's the deep run for one of them every single year, or let me invest less in them. No, I want to invest. I'm continuously buying stock in this quarterback draft class because it's the best thing going right now. Drake Maye taking a huge step. Awesome for this narrative. Also, selfishly, this keeps me holding out hope for, you know what I'm say. I mean, it's Michael.
Oh, you're Michael?
Yeah, I'm rooting for. I'm holding out for hope for Michael to make a deep run next year.
I think it's the last guy that you want to be putting any investment
Let's
into.
get Michael some easy opponents so he can mow down and then go on a nice fraudulent run down the stretch. Then everyone's happy. That's that. He's next on the docket, right? He's next up. We good without saying we're not counting JJ in a year.
I don't. Why is he next up?
I think he's next up in the draft order of drafted for success. He was the fourth quarterback taken in that class.
So it has to be sequential. I don't understand.
I'd like it to be. I'd like it to happen for Michael before Bo Nix or JJ.
I hate to say this. Well, Bo Nix has already played a lot better than Michael Penix has. A lot better than Michael Penix has. And sadly, as much as you don't like JJ McCarthy, I think we both don't like JJ McCarthy. We both think that he stinks.
Mm-hmm.
He is in the best situation to figure it out because Kevin O'Connell is his coach who's calling plays and he's throwing to Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson.
I'm going to out Kevin you with a Kevin Stefanski who doesn't have his OC calling plays for him. We're putting Tommy Reese on. Get the formations up, buddy. So I got.
Oh, is that confirmed that Tommy's not calling the plays?
I'm pretty sure we're not having Tommy call plays.
I can't wait until that press conference and they announce that they're turning play calling over to Tommy. He's
Why
just
would
that
you
he's
say
ready.
something like that?
We need a change of pace after Michael Penix has thrown 15 interceptions and 4 touchdowns.
That would never happen with Michael. That would never happen. What kind of build are you setting up here for this team?
I just think you're overly optimistic for Michael Penix.
That's what people were thinking Drake Maye was going to be this year. They thought he was going to be a turnover machine. They didn't know what the deal was going to be. I knew he was going to be a big studly quarterback. You know what I'd like to see him do next year? Honestly, I'd like to see him just nut up and take over with his legs more. I want to see him run for 710. Why not? Get in the end zone every single possible way. Become the Josh Allen big man. I know he can do it. I really do.
I think that the biggest key here, and this partially leads into the next topic, which we're going to get to in a second. I think that they need to be aggressive in bolstering their offensive line. Forget positioning and who goes where. Their offensive line overall needs to be better. I think that they need to go and get another big receiver. Butte and Kyle Williams are solid guys. Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper don't really do it for me at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is a team that goes and gets Kenyon Sadiq or something like that in the upcoming draft. Maybe they go and get David Njoku.
Yeah.
Running back, I think that they should be fine as long as Henderson can find a hole for once and actually sniff out a rushing lane.
I thought we were going to see a lot more TreVeyon Henderson this year.
Dude, his vision was so bad down the stretch.
It was a little rough. I'd like to see him step up. Where do we sit on Mac Hollins? Do we want Mac Hollins returning for the bit?
No, you can't. Dude, you can't do all that crap that he was doing. Actually, he did have big plays in the Super Bowl.
He was like the one guy making plays for him. I think you got to keep Mac. But I wanted it to be Efton Chisholm time in New England. I want to see that emergence.
Efton can F on him at some point.
Oh, my God.
Look, we have to talk about Will Campbell, Sean. We have to talk about
the
whole
yeah.
I know that this is probably...
Sure. You look distraught that you have to run down a 22-year-old tackle.
Oh, my God.
You look distraught. Go ahead.
Okay, look. Will Campbell had an abysmal playoff performance. 29 pressures is the most all-time in a playoff run that he gave up. 14 is the most in a playoff game since 2018, which is what he gave up in the Super Bowl. No matter how we cut it, slice it, dice it, Will Campbell was bad. Just forget any excuse making, discuss whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He was bad. He played poorly. Sure, Jarrett Wilson shoved, got in his way, which led to one of the biggest sacks where everybody immediately started criticizing Will Campbell. That play wasn't his fault. The rest of them, yes. Campbell came out today and he pointed out, I'm not making an excuse. I'm paraphrasing here. He wasn't making an excuse, but he was dealing with ligament damage in his knee. Mike Vrabel came out today also saying he's not playing any other position but tackle for them. I think that putting him into this boat, forcing him to sink or swim, throwing him out of the boat rather, forcing Will Campbell to sink or swim is a misguided approach. I think that you need to look and reflect that the kid struggled and move him to guard. And if he really excels at guard and you can't figure out who's going to play tackle for you in the next couple of years, let him play tackle again. It is not a relegation. I am not saying bench the kid. Is it so bad for him to play guard? Zach Martin was an All-American tackle at Notre Dame. He was a Hall of Fame guard with the Cowboys. Why is it so harmful that the kid bumps inside?
He's not wide enough, first of all. Zach Martin was literally
not long enough to play tackle.
Okay, that's so scout.
How can you
so scout-minded? And
honestly, how can you say he's not wide enough to play one position when he's not long enough to play the other?
Because there are ways where he can get coached up and make up for the length stuff. He's not the first tackle.
He can make up for the lack of width with a guard.
No, they're too big
for it.
What does he do if Tavondre Sweat is lining up on him an inside shade? He's got to go reach that guy. He ain't doing it.
What does he do if Myles Garrett's lined up on him on the outside? Oh, he gives up 4 sacks.
Yeah, that's a tough situation there with Myles. Look, a guy was injured. He was injured to bittens, and not everyone forgot about it. Here's something I have to say. Chris Collinsworth did this poor kid so dirty in the Super Bowl, where the first time that a pressure came down on Drake Maye, first time, he was like, yeah, Will Campbell struggling, Will Campbell this, that. How about Will Campbell banged up, soldier, working off the knee injury, and coming back and battling for the team? He got beat by a really good pass rush on that one. How about we layer it with that instead of, his struggles, his this, his that? Will Campbell's fine in my book. Will Campbell is a young tackle that got hit with a nasty stretch of defensive ends that exposed his raw flaws. And that would be actually something I didn't think he would struggle with, setup positioning. I thought he'd be better with hand placement and not be a double punch guy. That is not his forte. He needs to get better with the pit pat. Not a double punch guy. You're not long enough to be double punch and clench. He's a pit pat. Fight with the hands. He needs to get better at it. He's 22 years old, and he got smoked in the playoffs. All of this is agreed. He is not a guard.
He was the 4th overall pick. A guy who was drafted that early is supposed to step in and have a significant impact. I'd like to point out the 2 guys that I had ranked ahead of him in this past class.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Booker had a better season than him. Kelvin Banks had a better season than him.
Banks was okay.
I don't understand how we can – what do you mean? He was the most successful rookie offensive lineman this year.
He was okay this year. I watched him.
I believe he had the best season in terms of, I'm going to go double check that, but Ryan's pointed that out to me multiple times that out of all the rookie offensive linemen in terms of pressures that they gave up, performances that they had, Kelvin Banks was the best of the group.
I thought Kelvin had a good to okay season. I thought
all based off of what?
Watching him play. Watching his foot speed, watching him lug those things around, which eventually is going to catch up to him. But he was fine. He was good. He was fine.
Okay. This is the general issue that I have with this is I feel like everybody is riding off of the success that Will Campbell had in college. And we're just assuming he's going to figure it out. I don't get how you can feel that a kid is going to be fine when he was historically bad. We're not talking about a player who had ups and downs and wasn't super consistent. He had the worst playoff stretch for a tackle that he possibly could have had. How are we expecting him to suddenly leap to getting better.
Who was the big fat tackle for the Panthers? The big fat right tackle that lost the game for them with Von Miller running him down. He was a big.
Wasn't the 4th overall pick.
Yeah, I gotcha. But I thought he had a worse game in comparison that versus Von Miller than Will Campbell had in this Super Bowl. Like if it's the worst of all time, it's fine. Everything's the most or the least or the worst or the best of all time. Now it just feels like how that's being graded. I don't think it was the worst performance down the stretch of all time. I don't. I think that
there's a number that goes along with it. You think I made that number up?
I'm not saying you made that number up, but I'm just saying I don't think all the numbers are going all the way back, grading every single performance from every left tackle since 1967.
So are you? I don't understand. I mean, that's just a crazy. So you're attacking the information, claiming that it's missing. There's missing
1,000%. Yeah,
but you don't know that.
Believe that.
We know that he gave up 29 pressures. Forget if it's the most or the least. 29.
Yeah,
29 pressures.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I would agree. That's a lot. Yes.
It's too many.
Yes, it's too many. But I've seen worse stretches from linemen in the playoffs, how they roll through.
How can you say that when he gave up 29?
Because they kept winning and they kept on moving, and I would watch him make blocks. I watch him fight through.
I would hope he makes some blocks.
Yeah.
I would hope that he wouldn't just be a turnstile on every single play. Linemen don't fail every single play, but 29 is a lot. 14 in a Super Bowl.
You know what I saw? I saw that Drake Maye and that Sam Darnold had the same snap to release time in that game. One of them took 6 sacks. One of them took 1. So I'm not selling the quarterback down the river here, but there's something to it where one took 6 sacks, same 2.83 seconds of snap to release of the ball time. Why were they identical? Why did one have 6 sacks versus one had 1?
I think that point is separate from the conversation that we're having. We're not comparing Sam Darnold and Drake Maye. We're talking about a tackle who had a 4-game stretch where he gave up 29 pressures.
I think Drake Maye didn't get the ball out fast enough at times to account for pressures.
What would it take for you to move him inside? What would it take for you?
It would take a disaster year too, because at the beginning of the year, healthy Will Campbell, you know what I was doing in our little scout chat? Oh, I was rubbing it in. I'm like, oh, this kid's solid. This kid's holding up these defensive tackles, the defensive ends. He's doing great. I was gloating. Then he got hurt, and then he went out there and tried to take on a bunch of bull rushes with a bum knee, still bum knee, by the way, and it went pretty poorly for him. If he has a bad year next year, all 17 games. Then I would
17 games.
Like after 17 games, it's not going to be like, oh, he had a bad first 4. Let me move him in at week 5. No. It would take a full year of me watching him and watching him flop about for me to say, man, maybe you do move him inside.
But then it gets to the point where, 1, you're wasting time, and 2, if he has back-to-back bad seasons, he's officially entering the bust category. Again, a 4th overall pick lineman. Linemen are supposed to be more ready to compete right away compared to other positions. They're not expected to be all pros immediately. I'm not expecting that from him. But the way that he was billed was that of an otherworldly tackle prospect that was ready to come in, protect Drake Maye, set up Drake Maye to succeed and to play as best as he can. And if anything, Drake Maye was playing in spite of the performances of Will Campbell.
I think they were symbiotically at times negative towards one another. I'm not saying that Drake Maye didn't bail them out plenty. I think Big Will Campbell bailed them out some also.
What about center? Would you move him? Would you let him play center? He doesn't need to be as wide to play center.
I think he's got.
Brandon Thorne was saying
I think he's got the
center.
Mentality. Here's the thing: the tricky thing about center is I think he's got the mental to play center.
He's smart. He's got great hands. He's one of the best hand fighting linemen that I've watched in the past couple of years.
I mean, I'm also looking at his body comp. Like, if we're gonna get real nitty gritty here, he does not have the NFL muscle yet. He really doesn't. His arms are not chiseled. They're not beefy. His chest, not wide, not beefy. His back, not fully developed yet. Like, I'm seeing him, and I'm like, man, a couple years in that NFL training like an NFL tackle, I'm looking at a different guy. I really am. And I think he can tack it on. I think he can stay lean, stay fast, and just convert. It's a little doughy. Like, I'm seeing a lot of my body comp in him, looking at his doughy arms, and I'm like, hey, would you commit and lift a weight, please, And that's what I need him to do. And I think they're going to do it. That's what Vrabel said today. Yeah, we're going to get him stronger. We're going to get him better. He had some plays that he wishes he had back. I thought Vrabel handled it like a pro.
We'll see what happens with Campbell. I still think that he's a guard.
I also don't want him talking to your boy, by the way.
Who's my boy?
Andrew Thomas. Saw that coming out that Will Campbell's phoning up that bum.
What do you mean?
How to overcome adversity.
Well, here's the thing that Andrew Thomas can't teach him: how to get longer arms.
That's
so.
true.
And Andrew Thomas has great length, and he's like he's the poster child for, hey, if we take this guy who struggled as a rookie, but he's got really long arms, he'll eventually figure it out.
If I could give Andrew Thomas half of Will Campbell's technique and poise, and Andrew Thomas could give half of his arm length to Will Campbell, they're both Hall of Famers right now.
You pointed out that Will Campbell's technique was bad.
It's not translating great for the NFL.
Thomas is better technique than Will Campbell does.
No, he gets bendy. Thomas bends at the hips too much for my liking. Also, I feel like he's got big.
Will Campbell stands up too high.
I agree.
Which was something that, by the way, that's something that nobody's talking about. I still hate his stance. He's got a narrow base. He stands super high. That was a huge criticism of mine. Every offensive lineman that wanted to jump in and defend him said, well, it's just his stance. It's just how he operates.
Well, they're just letting guys do anything right now, by the way. And this is an offensive line rant. They're just letting these dudes do whatever. You sent me a clip of a right tackle, and he was just opening. He was his whole
Tiernan.
The purple jersey or something.
Yeah, Caleb Tiernan, the Northwestern kid.
His whole stance was just 45 degrees pointed that way. No, you can't do stuff like that.
Playing at Northwestern,
you can't do that.
I agree with that's the main point here. I'm sick of this belief that there's some sort of flexibility to playing the one position that I don't think there should be.
No,
you ever just kind of get bored and go down the rabbit hole of watching like coaching clinic videos of offensive linemen? You'll see some old grizzly dude who's saying it has to be done this way. You need to be set up this way. Your feet need to land here. Your chest needs to be in this direction. Like there's such refinement. I feel like nowadays you get all these personalized coaches and it turns into this whole, we just want everybody to be comfortable. I think at the end of the day, forget the arm length discussion. I think that Will needs a real stern, hey, you need to start this thing from the ground up because what you were doing in college, the shit's not going to work with your body type, and we need to drill everything down to the finest detail.
He needs to pop out to a 45-degree set. Here's what I'll also say.
I still can't believe he was going that vertical.
It's
insane how deeply vertical he was.
Look, it's NFL guys. You put an NFL guy in a wide 9. It's just hell. It's just really no fun for anybody because they're just going to run through your face, and they're going to run through everyone's face, but like 10 offensive tackles. I'll say this. In reflection, after this year's NFL draft, if you draft a guy whose face looks like mine, you're drafting him too high because Will Campbell and Mason Graham both had rough rookie years, in my opinion. And I received texts after each of them were selected. Congrats on getting drafted. Congrats. I hope you enjoy Cleveland and I hope you enjoy New England. If you're drafting someone that looks like this, you need to trade the pick. You need to not do it because you're in for a sorry first season. They're late bloomers. I can tell. I can see it, man.
Mason Graham's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Mason.
Why don't you move him to guard? He had half a sack this year.
Because he's a defensive tackle.
I bet he could play better guard. He's just sitting there slapping up. That's the conversation we need to have. What's the number of TFLs or sacks that Mason Graham has this year to prevent us from moving him to guard?
I have no fear about Mason Graham because Mason Graham, to me, has no physical outlier traits that he can't overcompensate for because a lack of length for him, he makes up for the fact that he's ridiculously flexible and he's quick. Mason Graham's going to be fine. I don't have to worry about Mason Graham at all.
I'm just letting you know.
I know you hate defensive tackles and you got to defend your guy. I get it. I totally get it.
Who was slobbering the defensive tackles today? Was it Jordan Reed? Somebody was slobbering.
I think it was Jordan Reed, which is true. I think that you undervalue defensive. Look, let's move on to this next topic. They're talking about Sam Darnold to stay back on track here. Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl after being labeled a bust, things not working out with the Jets. He now gets to say he's achieved the greatest achievement in the NFL. There are plenty of guys that go on and win Super Bowls and they stagnate. They stay the same. They don't take that leap. and their career kind of just ends. Do you think that Sam Darnold is going to be a quarterback who finishes his career? It's hard to say better because he had a great season this year. He threw for 4,000 yards,
28 wins in the last 2 years.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Do you think he's a guy who is going to finish his career in that upper echelon that we talk about in the 2020s of like, man, you remember Sam Darnold? We'll be sitting at a bar in 20 years or our kids will ask, Dad, who was Sam Darnold? But man, he was good. He was good. He was an interesting story. He was good. Kind of like Steve Young, where Steve Young didn't work with the Bucs.
Yeah.
Ended up on the 49ers, eventually took over, and then he had a prolific finish to his career. Do you think that Darnold is going to build off of this or at least carry this momentum?
He's put himself in a really interesting place in quarterback lore right now because no matter what, if you're drafted that high and then you go to 3 different teams, that sticks in people's minds a lot, even though he went to the first 2 teams in the Jets and the Panthers who were utter garbage, dog water, incapable of doing anything with anybody. Then he's cited talking about San Fran being so good for him, turns it on the next 2 years. Right now, I have no reason but to bet that he keeps on the pace that he's on right now. Like just the patterns of terrible team gets fixed up, 2 good teams, goes and plays out of his mind football with Minnesota and Seattle in 2 back-to-back years. I trust the pattern there. I don't see him regressing. Keep him with now it doesn't. You keep him with the top 5 receiver in the league. I think that helps him. I think keeping JSN there helped them. Having Justin Jefferson helped them. But I have no reason right now to think that he would stagnate. And if he does stagnate, then we're looking at a pretty good quarterback when it's all said and done. But when you say Sam Darnold, when you say it, do you think top 10 in the league? No, you don't.
No.
Even though he should be. Even though we should be putting him in the same metric as like Dak Prescott. That would be realistic for me. But it's only been 2 years of Darnold dominance, and we've seen 6 years where Dak has looked stellar. So what do we put that on? Because Darnold's got a Super Bowl. Darnold's got 3 playoff wins before the Super Bowl. Like the resume is building out, but I think a lot more people will put Dak in the top 10 before they put Darnold in the top 10, which is a really weird spot to be.
Part of the problem with this is that Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl MVP.
I know.
I think that everybody with a sensible, just
the gimmick. That's his nickname, by the way. The gimmick.
Anyone with any sense about themselves can recognize that Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. Is he good enough to succeed in the confines of the offense when they have a good play caller?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That is partly why I have not a fear for Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's going to succeed. I think that he's going to pass somebody like Jalen Hurts. I think that he could get back to the NFC Championship game at the very least before his career is done. I think he can get to a Super Bowl again. I think it's very possible because Mike McDonald's a great coach and his supporting cast is great. JSN's also not A.J. Brown, and I don't think there's going to be any problems caused in the locker room. I think that JSN is a lot more locked in, and A.J. Brown has a lot more, personal goals that get in the way of having a good relationship with Hurts. But the big thing is Kellen Moore leaves, takes the head coaching job with the Saints. Kellen Moore is over there in New Orleans. It's bleeding on to Tyler Shuck, and Tyler Shuck looks good, and it looks like there's a bright future for that offense.
Easy on the Shuck.
You have here with Clint Kubiak leaving and taking the Raiders job, and there's a path here for Mendoza to then get the same treatment as Tyler Shuck. And if they mess up this hire, we could be talking about this time next year, man, this was a disappointing season for Sam Darnold. I always feel like we overlook offensive coordinators, especially with guys
all the time
like Darnold that needed to be in the right situation. If you're Josh Allen, if you're Lamar Jackson, if you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're Joe Burrow, guys that can succeed regardless of their situation, it's a little bit different. But when you're Sam Darnold, who has needed perfect, just every single detail to be working in the right direction, I have some fear that this could stagnate.
I don't know. I saw him as more of a playmaker this year. I really did. I thought he stepped up when he needed to. And like when it mattered, when I was doubting him down the stretch, when I thought those the final 2 games of the season, when it was a replication situation, from the year prior, I didn't think he was going to show up. And I thought maybe if they won, it'd be a lot of Kenneth, or it'd be a lot of defense, and he would just kind of be dinking and dunking. I didn't see that. I saw him making plays. I saw him absolutely lighting teams up in the playoffs, and that mattered to me. It's just something that stuck with me. And I'm like, what he did to the Rams, what he did to them in the championship round was surgical, and that was a huge step up. What he did to the Patriots, whatever. What he did to the Rams mattered more to me, because I thought the Rams were a better team, and he showed me another gear. And now all I'm obsessed with is his placement in my top 32. And if he's like, do we have him over Jared Goff? First of all, like, is he?
Yeah, because he won a Super Bowl and he's pretty equivalent to Jared Goff. He's also younger than Jared Goff. I would easily, very happily put him ahead of Jared Goff.
Would you put him over Jordan Love? It's so.
I think that Jordan Love has higher upside, and he is, having been the super developmental raw quarterback that he was, I don't think he's fully there yet. I think he is a couple of rings below where his actual potential is, and we've gotten glimpses of it. So I wouldn't put him over Jordan Love. I think that Darnold's at his ceiling. The biggest thing that comes here with Darnold, which that's not like a hot take, he just won a Super Bowl and he had a really solid season. He had some bad stretches where he was turning the ball over and what wasn't perfectly clean. I think his ceiling is this being the elevator of an offense with a lot of really good pieces, but not always the driving force, because he's got a good run game and he's got an elite receiver to throw to. The biggest part that comes down to all this is Jackson Smith-Njigba being with him his entire career, and who they hire as the next OC. I think Jared Goff is dependent on having the right OC, as we saw this past year. I don't think that Jordan Love is dependent on having the right OC.
Okay, last one I'll give you. Tua.
Okay, what are you doing? Speaking of next season, Sean, I want to look ahead to the way too early picks, futures for the Super Bowl. Who do we think is going to win a Super Bowl? I can't believe you just said Tua. Who do we think is going to win the Super Bowl in 2026? After all the trashing I just did, I'm taking the Seahawks at plus 705. I think that the Seahawks are going to get, actually, I think it's plus 750. I think I wrote that down wrong. The biggest reason why I have buy-in for the Seahawks to get back there, you have a defensive-minded coach. Your identity and your success came from your defensive-minded coach. It is one of the unique situations in the NFL where a DC was able to win a Super Bowl. There will not be a drop-off with this defense, because the man who built it is going to be there for all of eternity.
Yep.
Until he's done and he retires. They have, though, this is the biggest reason why I'm excited, the 6th most cap space coming into this offseason. This roster does have some work that needs to be done. It has a couple things they need to get figured out. After they address, and I'm going to take a quick look in a second at who their upcoming free agents are, because I want to double check something.
Well, I think as JSN and Witherspoon are extension ready,
but they're not. They'll probably get their full next contracts, because they were unbelievable this season. But having that much money allows for them to spend and shore up the offensive line, go and get maybe one more receiver. I mean, hell, how nuts would it be if they went and got Alec Pierce? Spent the $20 million a year to go get Alec Pierce. Maybe add one more key defender. They could capably go sign the biggest names at two positions, their two biggest of need. Not having to moneyball this.
Yeah.
They could go really, really spend some money if they chose to.
Man, they moneyballed it so well this past year. I hope they kind of play it like the Rams did during their stretch where they were winning that Super Bowl, where sign a star, sign a Moneyball guy. Sign a star or pay a star, sign a Moneyball guy.
Wait, these are some of their biggest free agents, and all these guys are there's two that'll probably be hard to bring back. Kobe Bryant, his market value is $14 million. Rashid Shaheed, his market value is $14 million. Josh Jobe, maybe, and then also Kenneth Walker is a UFA. Tariq Woolen's a UFA. these are all guys that might be replaceable, but you also have the money to bring them back, and they're not going to be ridiculously expensive.
I'd like to keep as many of those guys as possible,
which they can.
but I don't think those are like core impact losses personally.
But they're also not, all right, we're going to sign Woolen and Job and Bryant, and there goes all of our cap space.
Yeah.
I think that there's room to work with.
I think so also. I don't mind the Seattle pick just because that defense, it's so young, it's so talented. It just feels like a defense that sticks together just because they kind of piecemealed it. They kind of meat glued it a bit. And that was awesome. But the basic tenets of that defense are just so nasty and filthy that it's replicable. It's something that you can continue to roll with until these guys age themselves out. And I hope they do, because it's really a special unit that caught so much fire. And I don't know if I believe it, because how could you? Because we've been on teams before. But like I maybe it was Ernest Jones after it was saying after they won, like, man, yeah, we're all kind of sad we don't get to practice with one another next week and like watch film together and stuff. I'm like, are you? You don't want to go on vacation, big man? But if that's how you feel and that's how lockstep that room is, dangerous for years to come. I am not going to have issues with your Super Bowl winner next year, Joseph. It's the Seahawks. They were dominant this year. Mine. The Green Bay Packers get it done with Jordan Love next year. The Green Bay Packers are ready to usher in the next dominant Super Bowl winning quarterback. Jordan Love gets it done early, just like Favre got it done early, just like Rodgers got it done early. You put the doubt at ease in Green Bay with your quarterback in the longevity that you've had so singular quarterbacks run through. This is not a franchise that just goes, all right, next guy up, next guy up, next guy up. Nope. We lock in on franchise guys here. That's what happens. Jordan Love returns with a good offense. A good offense, not great. Get a skill player, let two of them walk, and I'm fine with it. You have to replace with quality, not quantity. Assess whether or not you want Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. I prefer you kept Watson, but a lot of those guys interchangeable. Maybe get another guy and then keep Matthew Golden because he's just got the youth and he's a first-round pick. Defense, so good. This should be a Seahawks-built team with how filthy the defense is. Micah Parsons comes back. Edgerrin Cooper's a beast. Quay Walker, still a rising star in my opinion, and the defensive backfield is built for a deep run. I am all in on the Packers. I thought they got hit with some nasty injuries this year, and if they had Micah down the stretch, then we could have been looking at a different situation with them. I don't think it's a first-round exit for Green Bay next year. I think they actually mature and they go the distance.
The only thing that I have a lot of pause on here, one, their cap space for the upcoming offseason is not great. They're towards the bottom of the NFL. They're actually one of those teams that's in the negative in cap space, so they're going to need to do a little bit of maneuvering. They're probably not going to be big spenders because they just don't have the room to do it. They don't have their first-round pick because of the Micah trade, and I have just a lot of fear with Micah and when he's actually coming back, and also when he's going to be at full speed. Even if he does return, is it going to be week one? Because it was towards the end of the season when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Does he take a while to get back up to full speed, and does it happen before the playoffs? I think that they will be a playoff team. I think that the receiver room is still really good, even if Romeo Doubs does leave in free agency. I think that Matthew Golden's ready to take a big step forward. Tucker Kraft is another guy who's got to get back and healthy.
Yeah, welcome back, big horse.
I hope that he's going to be good to go. I'm a little fearful with their offensive line because Rasheed Walker is expected to be a free agent. I think a lot of people believe and expect that he will be expensive in the $20 million range. That's going to require a lot to be able to afford to bring him back. I am no cap expert. I'm not going to pretend to be a cap expert. But if you can bring back a lot of those players and get good value out of their day 2, day 3 picks, sure, winning a Super Bowl's on the radar. I'm a little surprised that you went with the Packers because they wouldn't be at the top of, I think, most people's lists.
I just believe in them, and I thought they got hit with one of those 49ers seasons where they just had impact injuries, and also I think they're a lot like the 49ers, except it's not Purdy. It's Jordan Love. You know, like I would rather bet on the 49ers with Jordan Love than Brock Purdy. With a good defense, good offense, it runs through the tight end with big horse Tucker Kraft. That's a team that can go to the Super Bowl and win it. And I think they got the quarterback. I think Jordan Love is just a guy that can go and win a Super Bowl if he's presented the opportunity. They need to not mess around next year because that window, I'm keeping it open for them. Starting to slip down just a bit because the rest of the NFC North is getting so good.
All right, let's close out here with our favorite college basketball bet of the night. If anyone else has a bet that they like, drop it in the comments. Let us know what you ended up taking. I didn't love the lines tonight, man. And I know that
A lot of big
it's
lines.
kind of stupid me saying that considering I'm 1-2 right now in college basketball bets on the show. In real, with the volume of bets that I usually put out there, I'm in the green, but the 3 that I've given out have not gone well. I'm going to take Arkansas -5 against LSU tonight. Arkansas has been a great team at covering right now, 10-5 against the spread in their last 15 games. I think this Arkansas squad, as we've seen with Calipari, is just always on a trajectory to go on a run in the final months of the college basketball regular season before postseason play picks up.
I like it. I like Coach Cal. He took a bunch of freaking money out of my pocket for no reason, though.
I remember that.
Yeah, of course you do.
I remember that. That was awfully nice.
Scumbag.
That was awfully
You know what?
nice.
Maybe I don't like this pick. Go LSU. I hope LSU smokes them. And actually, no. I hope LSU shoots a 3 from half court with half a second left in the game to cut the spread down to 4. They're losing by 7, and then they hit the
just
3.
A meaningless 3.
Such a meaningless 3.
You're a real good
and they
friend.
just
Real good friend.
Just chuck it up.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, because I'm such a good friend, I actually took your bet in real life.
What is that about?
I already took it.
I haven't even given it out. You're telling me you're taking it?
No, I already took it. What do you mean I'm taking it? I'm always on this before you. My bets are always in the morning. I place my bets in the morning.
You know what? This changes everything.
No.
This
what's your
entirely
pick?
everything.
No, what's your pick? Well, if you
I
don't
gotta
want
find
it,
a line. I
if
gotta
you don't
find
want
a
it,
line.
I'm taking it. If you don't want it, I'm taking it.
Oh. Okay. Right. Chalk Factory is back in business, everybody. Nebraska giving 1.5 to
Let's
Purdue.
go.
I just really don't like that you're putting that out there before I even.
I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing
Why?
it. I'm gonna keep telling everyone that you and I have the same bets. It makes me really happy to know that you and I are on the same page.
All the bets that I hit are going against your picks when it's a ranked matchup. I'm not saying that I'm betting LSU tonight, but when you give out a nice, tasty ranked matchup, ranked on ranked, I take the opposite and I hit.
The irony of you talking like this.
Watch that thing.
The irony of you talking like this when you literally do this with me in college football, and you were the biggest mush for me this year in college football. Even with my favorite team, you kept betting on them in games that they played poorly in. So I don't want to hear it from you.
I took a respite on Notre Dame this year. Was not betting on them every single week. You keep on talking crazy, I'll take a future with them. I swear to God, I'll take a future.
Why are you taking Nebraska? What's the
Chalkman? Chalkman delivers. Chalkman comes through.
Took chalk last night. And it didn't work when you took Arizona.
Chalkman got chalked up, and there should be a punishment for me if I pick a chalk strictly for chalk. Can we get chalk? Can I eat chalk? What would happen there? Like there should be a punishment.
Would you willingly eat chalk?
Can a human take a bite out of chalk and work through it?
Can a human?
Because honestly, I feel like a dirtbag every time I come in here and I start to give out my chalk picks, and it's just picking favorites in teams.
Okay, well, Healthline. There's an article titled "Why Do Some People Feel Like Eating Chalk?" One of the sub headlines is, "Do you know if eating chalk is a problem?" Wait, so this says, while a human can't eat small amounts of most classroom or sidewalk chalk without acute poisoning, it is not recommended because it provides no nutritional value and can lead to health problems if consumed regularly or in large quantities. Digestive issues, nutritional. So you can eat it.
What if I just chomp on it? What if I just chomp and spit it out? Then we can get the spittoon you've always wanted.
What do you think?
I bet it probably tastes like chalk. What does it taste like?
The crazy thing is,
are you kidding me?
That's also one of those things too. It's also one of those things too where it's a descriptor for when you're eating bad food.
Yeah.
But nobody knows what chalk tastes like.
Oh my God.
Well, you eat chalk all the time with the picks that you give out. So fine. If you want to buy some chalk next time that you put out a chalk pick and it doesn't hit, you want to eat on the show.
I just it's not a
is that all it takes is if a chalk pick doesn't hit, you'll eat chalk on the show?
Well, if I'm calling it all chalk, if I'm coming in with like reasoning, like I would like to come in this one with reasoning and not make it a chalk eating pick. because I watched that Indiana-Purdue game and I watched how Indiana did them boys. I'm like, Purdue's kind of messing around right now. Nebraska, not so much. Nebraska's a team trying to make a name for themselves, trying to make a run. Yeah. Price Sandford going on a big heater, 17.1 a game. I'm liking this team, man. I'm in on it. But this would not be a chalk eat pick. I'll let you know if it is a chalk eat.
Why?
Pick.
You just said it was chalk.
Because I think that Purdue's just kind of messing around until they play Indiana next. And then they'll turn it on. Okay. My Indiana sourcing is thinking that they're going to beat the hell out of Indiana next time they play.
We'll see if that comes to fruition. Folks, do us a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be back on Thursday. I don't think we're going to be going live because I'm going to be out in Orlando golfing, but we will be recording and dropping the show. And I always feel like whenever anyone brings up they're going golfing, it's hard not to sound like a douche, but here I am.
I think it's not the golfing, it's the Orlando part.
Do you want to come? Well, we're not golfing in Orlando. I'm flying in Orlando. We're golfing in Melbourne Beach, which is somehow trashier.
Nice.
You want to come? You can take off work.
I don't know about all that. Also, I'm taking off a couple days at the end of February. So we're gonna have to figure that one out.
All right, well,
we'll try to be readily available until then.
Okay. All right. We're getting out of here. We'll talk to you later.